I have mixed feelings about making this video because basically last month my shop tanked so much in February. The biggest thing is the conversion rate. The visits, actually, I feel like the difference between January and February is not that great. January was a really good month because people are making New Year's resolutions to start businesses, and my niche for my Etsy shop is Canva templates for a certain kind of business owner. So because people are thinking about starting businesses in January, that's why I think there are more people searching for business related things and more people are visiting my shop. So in February, the visits, it wasn't that different than January, but my conversion rate went down by a lot. I'm actually not sure why that is. My item sold was 24 and I made $376. My ad spend was $47, and how I spent this was for the first 6 days of February, I actually had the ads turned off to 0 because I wanted to see if I could make sales without doing ads. So on February 1st, I changed my ad spend from $1 to $0, and my revenue, like I made a sale that day. I don't know if it was, I think, yeah, it was from ads, but then afterwards, so I put it to 0 for a couple of days, and it's because I wanted to test out if I could get sales without doing ads. But then actually on February 6th, I had to record my 3rd month on Etsy video, and for me to be able to see the ad statistics, I actually have to be putting money into ads. So then I couldn't continue with my experiment of doing $0 a day because I had to make the 3rd month on Etsy video for you guys. So I actually tried to do something else, and I did $2 a day for the entire month, and my revenue was kind of, I made some money from the ads. Like the revenue was more than double the ad spend, which I guess is quite good. And 10 orders out of my 24 orders were from ads, which is interesting because if you look at the previous month, in January, I sold 64 items, but my ad spend, I guess my ad revenue was $107. So it's quite interesting because when you take a look at my overall revenue and take a look at how much of that total revenue is because of ads, in January, that percentage was so much smaller compared to February. So I just calculated. So in January, my revenue from ad spend made up 8% of my total revenue. So I just did that divided by that. But then in February, which was last month, it was 31%. So my organic sales actually went down a lot, while my ad spend and my ad revenue, I think they're pretty comparable because in January I spent $31 and I made $107. Last month I did $47 and then I made $117. So I think that is comparable, but my organic sales just went down a lot. I'm not too sure why. I have some reasons why I think it happened, but I'm actually not sure. So my net profit last month was $239, but then I actually received $168 in the bank, which is quite interesting. There's always like a discrepancy, which I think I know why. I think it's because I think someone explained it to me in one of my comments, but basically when they pay me out on March 6th, because I get paid out monthly, I think the March 6th payment it also accounts for some of the sales that are happening in March. So I don't know, there's always some kind of discrepancy, so whatever. But overall, you can see that my Etsy shop went down a lot. I'm not like super duper disappointed. It's just kind of interesting because I didn't think that would happen. I knew that February would go down, but I didn't know that it would go down this much, and especially the conversion rate. It went down a lot by like 2%. Even though everything went down, in February, I actually became a star seller. So that is the one good thing that happened. So another thing is like the offsite ads. So I looked into it and I made 3 orders, but these were at the end of January. So that is pretty cool. If you don't know what it is, basically, I guess Etsy will promote my products on like Google, Instagram, Facebook, and then if people buy something, then I pay like 15% advertising fee. So I don't even know if you can turn this off. I think it's just, they just do it for you automatically, I guess. It's kind of cool. I made some sales, but there weren't any from offsite ads in February. So that's interesting. I had 3 in January, but none for February. So I have a couple of theories why maybe my Etsy shop went down a lot in February. The first thing is I didn't post any new listings for a really long time. I think since January 10th, I stopped working on my Etsy shop because I was just so busy with the YouTube growing and then planning for my Southeast Asia trip, which like right now I'm in Vietnam recording this. So no listings. And so maybe Etsy sees that I'm not active, but I just feel like it's so weird that my conversion went down so much. I think that might be a part of the reason why, but not the entire reason why. I also had some Etsy sellers who follow me on YouTube or Instagram message me or comment on my YouTube videos saying that in February and in March, their sales go down. It's just like, that's like the trend for a lot of Etsy sellers. So I guess historically for a lot of people, like February and March are the worst sales months of the year. So I guess that could also be a reason why my sales went down a lot. And then another thing is February was a shorter month, 28 days instead of 30 or 31 days, but it's only like a 2 or 3 day difference. So I don't think that made such a huge difference. I think it's a combination of I'm not active on Etsy, and historically February and March might just be bad months in general for Etsy. Maybe let me know in the comments if you have an Etsy store as well, and especially if you sell digital downloads, how is February and March for you usually? Do your sales go down or does it stay pretty consistent? Or yeah, let me know, because this is just super interesting. Right now I'm recording on March 15th and March has been way worse than February. Okay, it's actually not that funny because I'm like making less money, but I don't know, I think it's just so interesting. And because I haven't had my shop for a really long time, I don't really know the trends for my own shop. Like it's really, I'm looking at things on a month-to-month basis. So I'm just curious to see if like maybe in April or May, things begin to pick up. Oh, and also this whole month has been so crazy for me in Ho Chi Minh City, traveling with friends, trying to figure out how to balance my work and hanging out with friends and traveling and exploring. It's been a lot for me. So I actually knew coming into this trip that I might not have time to work on my Etsy, but starting in 2 days, I'm gonna be moving to a new city in Vietnam. There I basically only know like 2 people, and so I'm gonna have a lot more time to work on my YouTube and my Etsy and chill a bit in general. So we'll see how that goes. I think maybe my goal will be to post 1 or 2 Etsy listings every single week after I move there. So now I want to answer some FAQ questions that people have asked me in my previous Etsy videos, and these are questions that keep coming up. The first question is, what do I do for my SEO? And honestly, I don't think I have super duper good tips for SEO. I think I just follow like the normal SEO strategies that other YouTubers talk about or other bloggers talk about, like just to do keyword research. And I think I made a video on how I do my niche and my market research. So basically when I do my market research, I will jot down like the keywords that other people are using and that I think are effective. And I just kind of incorporate that into my SEO strategy. And a lot of you have asked me if I can make an SEO video, but honestly, I don't know. I don't think I should do that right now because my Etsy store went down a lot. I think my SEO is just average. Like, I don't think I have great SEO tips for you right now, but we'll see how my shop goes, and maybe down the line, if I feel like my SEO is actually good, then I'll make a video. Next question is, do I sell an Etsy course? No, I don't have any Etsy courses. I literally just started my own Etsy shop like 4 months ago, so I'm just learning as well, and I'm just a beginner, so no Etsy course. Oh, however, I do have some resources that you can download for free, and those are my Etsy tracker Google Sheets template and my Etsy listing photos Canva template, which I made an in-depth video on a couple of weeks ago. Next question is, what do you put in the PDF that the buyer gets? I just did what I thought made sense. Like I obviously have the link to the Canva template. I have a clickable link, and then I also have the link as a written out URL just in case for some reason people don't know how to click into a thing, or maybe it just doesn't work for whatever reason. And then I also have some instructions on on how to actually access the template. Like, oh, you need to click this link and then you need to click create your own copy, something like that. And then you can work on your own thing. And then I think I also have some tips, and I also have my contact information. Like I say, hey, if you need any help with anything or you're unable to open it, send me a message on Etsy and I can help you out. One other thing I put into my PDF is if I have any bonus things that I included in the listing, then I add the links to the bonus resources as well. And one more thing that I add is also I tell people to leave an honest review if they want. The next question is, where do I promote my shop? And I basically explained in my 3rd month on Etsy video, but I literally just use Etsy. I don't promote it on social media. I don't use Pinterest yet. I've been saying I'm gonna use Pinterest, but I haven't started using Pinterest yet. I have no time. It's literally just Etsy, like organic sales on Etsy and paying for Etsy ads. Next question is, do you need a business license to sell on Etsy? And I would say it depends on the country that you're in, because different countries have different rules on whether or not you have to like officially register a business, or if you can just become like a sole proprietor without registering the business. But then I think if you use a different business name, then maybe you have to register it, but I think it depends on the country. Also, I'm not a lawyer or an accountant in Canada, so please do your own research. For me in Canada, I do have a registered business and I report my profit and everything to the CRA. If you have any other questions about Etsy, leave them in the comments and I will do my best to respond as best as I can. But also remember, I have just started an Etsy shop from scratch 4 months ago, so I might not be able to answer all your questions. My shop went down a lot in February and March, and I think for a lot of people who have started to work on a shop, and if you've been seeing steady growth and then all of a sudden things tank, like mine, you might feel really discouraged. I actually feel okay. It's a bit sad, but I feel like I'm more curious than I am discouraged or disappointed. I'm just curious, like, why my conversion rate went down so much. Is it because conversion rates just go down in February and March, or is it because there are a lot more Etsy sellers in my niche, so the competition is greater? In the last 2 months when I haven't posted listings, like there are other people like posting better listings than me, so that might be a reason why. So for me, it's just like a very interesting thing to see it going down, and I'm wondering what I can do to bring it back up. Oh yeah, if you have suggestions for me, let me know. But my plan is to make more listings, and maybe I'll just do a little bit more research on why conversion rates go down significantly, and maybe if like February and March are actually just like really, really bad months in general. Things going up and down is a regular thing that happens in business, and I knew that, you know, at some point my Etsy shop would go down, and so I'm not surprised. It's just interesting, and I want to get to the bottom of it and figure out why it's happening so I can improve it, and then I can share with all of you the results, and hopefully my Etsy shop can grow more and I can keep sharing my experience with you.